Hi everyone, thanks for tuning in tonight. Let me know that you can hear me and see me okay. Give me a quick thumbs up out there and we will get going. I got Bella here with me tonight. She's got her bandana on. Turtle Mountain Animal Rescue alumni. Here's what I got for you. It's ladies' night. Ladies' night happened because two reasons. The guys need a break. Like, it's a lot of work. They're nonstop, 24 hours a day. And then they've got to do a live video every night at 9. And they love it. They do. They really do. But sometimes they need a break. And we also do ladies' night just to show you a different side of the rescue. I'm CJ. I volunteer with Turtle Mountain Animal Rescue. I've been with the rescue for many years. Writer by trade. Years ago, it only made sense to press pause on everything that I was doing in writing and tell our story because it was flippin' incredible. And it's just, I have to back up and say, when Turtle Mountain Animal Rescue started, the core of us, none of us had any experience in fundraising. None of us had volunteered in nonprofit before. None of us had volunteered in animal rescue before. None of us had any big dream to build an animal shelter and make that their life's goal. We all just sort of accidentally fell together, and then the other people came into the mix, and people come and people go, and it's a flippin' miracle that we're still here. And so Rescue Matters is the book that I wrote about our story, and I'm reading every other Wednesday night. Tonight we're on Pickle's story, Georgie's story. I've got Bella here, and for those of you that are tuning back in, Brenda isn't here tonight out of an abundance of caution. It's an interesting time, and it is a privilege to be sitting here with you tonight and reading you this. My hope was that one person would pick up the story and enjoy it or love it or pass it along, and to know that I've got friends all over the world, that we've got someone in New Zealand who wants to put it in the libraries, who is putting it in the libraries, is absolutely incredible. It's incredible to be a part of this, and so thank you for tuning in. Your time is valuable. I won't waste it. Tonight is going to be a tough one for me, I'm not going to lie, for many reasons. I'm going to try and make it through the best I can, okay? So we've got Rescue Matters, Pickle's story. Pickles was days away from death. His story is one that illustrates the unconditional and unstoppable force Keith is when it comes to helping animals in need. Keith was at home trying to heal from broken ribs and a bout of pneumonia he caught just out of the hospital. He was under doctor's orders not to lift anything, especially not a 90-pound St. Bernard. But what do you do when a St. Bernard who is near starvation needs help and you're the go-to rescue guy? You re-break your ribs trying to help. That's what you do. Pickle's fur was matted worse than any other dog we'd seen. He had softball-sized mats pinning his tail to his back legs. He had trash, dirt, burrs, and sticks woven into his neglected coat. Keith found him in the ditch where he was reportedly last seen. Pickles was extremely weak and had a difficult time walking through the deep snow. Keith punched holes in the snow with his boots as he walked toward him, his own body aching with each step. They were a closely matched pair. I'm going to stop for just 1 second. So if you're just tuning in, chapter 13 and 14 were equally as difficult in different ways, but in chapter 14, there was an attempted murder and Keith was in really bad shape physically, and it was supposed to be not rescuing animals or doing anything, just pause, heal. And so he was, rescuing Pickles during that time. Not many other dogs. This was really the one. Like all the dogs do, Pickles walked away from Keith, then walked closer. Their dance continued until the big boy was too tired to go on, so he just lay down and surrendered. Keith slipped a lead around his neck, but it was apparent that Pickles had never been on a lead before, and he wasn't about to go anywhere. Keith was forced to drag him a few feet and then let him rest, and then drag him again. Once they got to the truck, Pickles wanted nothing to do with that either. Keith had no choice but to wrangle him in any way he could. Pickles was about 90 pounds, which for his breed was 40 pounds underweight. When Keith picked him up, Keith felt his rib pop. Keith sent the team a picture of the beast he'd rescued and broken his ribs for, and we couldn't believe he was out there picking up dogs after everything that had happened. Yet, at the same time, we could. I came across a picture of Pickles a few months later with his new family. The dead dog walking looked like he was born again. I wanted to see what his life was like today. His mom, Lindsay, who I spelled her name wrong in the book, and I just realized that in this very moment. Sorry, Lindsay. Sent me some updated photos and said nothing would make her happier than to share his story. So I just will never forget Pickles for so many reasons. But I want to keep going. I want to tell you Georgie's story because so much more happens. And I bet they want to see your pretty face. You bet they want to see your pretty face. Want to lay over here? Oh, yeah. You camera shy. Okay, Pickles was renamed Georgie. Georgie's story, Wisconsin, 2018. Lindsay, name wrong again. Sorry, Lindsay. And Georgie. These are Lindsay's words. Quote, "For the first 2 months, Pickles, now George or Georgie, hid or attempted to just stay in one room with his face hidden as much as possible. He made no eye contact and cowered if we raised a hand to pet him. He was curious about us, but very nervous and shut down. He was extremely weak and skinny. He tested positive for Lyme disease, and the vet told us he needed to gain 40 pounds to reach a healthy weight. He started Lyme treatment and pain meds right away. He is an expert at hiding pills in his mouth and spitting them out. Over the summer, he started to gain weight and confidence, and he had more energy to walk and explore the yard. He began to realize that our other dog, Louise, aka Wheezy, was going to be his friend and ally. So George and Wheezy, of course, this dates all of us who know this, although I have to say I was really young, was like, not the Jetsons, the Jeffersons, right? Like the, oh, we're moving on up. That was George and Wheezy. So George and Wheezy. By Thanksgiving and Christmas, he began roaming the house, choosing to be in the same room as the rest of us and making eye contact. He sought out attention from the kids, and he decided to share his very loud bark with the neighborhood when outside. He still hid when guests visited. He also developed canine bloat, which we caught early and he had an emergency surgery for. Because he gained weight and was healthier, his recovery was quick and easy. We have discovered that George has a heart marking on his rear that seems fitting, as he is just a sweet and gentle dog. He loves Wheezy so much. They are named after the couple from the 80s TV show, The Jeffersons. Oh yeah, I did write it. I just did not read this part. I never read before I read to you guys. I just don't. But what I have coming next, I did read and prepare for because I had to. George likes to initiate explorations outside with her by barking in her face. I'm not sure it's her favorite. He is now at the ideal weight and very healthy. His back legs are a little sore, probably from Lyme, but as I noted, he spits out any pain meds or supplements we give him. Like most dogs of his breed, he can be stubborn and, due to his size, he often gets his way. He drools, and we spend a lot of time cleaning drool off the windows, walls, and furniture. I will send you a video of his magic ears. He can lift his ears when he is interested in something being said to him. End quote. So, broken Pickles, broken Keith. Pickles become Georgie, which is so cute. And Georgie's magic ears. If you want to see Georgie's magic ears, I've included a link in the paperback, and then there's a live link in the Kindle version of the book. You don't have to buy the book to find it. You could probably just search Georgie's Magic Ears Turtle Mountain Animal Rescue and find it. And Georgie also has an Instagram account. And so, I have more for you.
I went to the bathroom.
Okay, thank you. Yeah. It's good job that you went to the bathroom. I gotta shut the door. Otherwise, something will happen. I know it. No, stay. And so, Georgie has an Instagram account, and I went and watched Georgie's Magic Ears, and it's so cute. They're like, look at Georgie, and then like his ears come up, like I don't know, it's magical. Anyway, so I'm writing another rescue book. I don't know when it will be done. My intention for a second rescue book was to focus on some of the disaster rescues that we have done. And I was going to go with Keith on some of those trips and act as an observer, a recorder. I did all the trainings through FEMA, the emergency trainings, and the ASPCA to go. And that has yet to happen. Not that I want a hurricane or a disaster to happen, but that just hasn't happened. So I've had to sort of pivot and pause a little bit. So I don't know when that's coming out, but I do have another one in the works. And so in the next one, like in the first one, I wanted to include the story of us, the story of animal rescue around the United States, around the world, everything that I'm passionate about. And then I also wanted to follow up with any stories that I could that had a happy ending or a not happy ending of where the dogs are now. You know, we have, oh no, come here, they want to see you, don't go over there. Don't leave me, I only have you tonight. Don't leave me, come here, sweetheart. I got Bella's story coming up too. Oh, do you want to stay over here with mommy? Yeah, no you don't, huh? Come on, sweetie. No, mommy, I don't like the camera. I smell food out there. And so I've got Georgie's story for you that I wrote, and that Lindsay, who will have her name corrected in the second book, also wrote, that has been unpublished but slotted for the next book, and I'm going to read that to you guys tonight. So I reached out to Lindsay and let her know that I was going to be on tonight doing this, so that it wouldn't be a surprise to her and her family. And of course, the only place that I have this material is in my computer with the next book, which just went dark. Just 1 second here. Did I lose you? I lost you. You should be on this side. Okay, so here's what I've got. Chapter unknown. Would it be better here? Maybe you can read along. Oh, no, that's not comfortable. I'm gonna go back here, sorry. Chapter unknown. How do you fill a Saint Bernard-sized hole in your heart? You can't. Georgie's story. The ending. Georgie's rescue story was told in Rescue Matters, and so I won't retell it here. And I never anticipated writing about George again, except in a "Where are they now?" follow-up post, cheerful on social media. But a few months after George's story was published in Rescue Matters, I happened across a social media post from Georgie's adoptive family. May 27th, 2019. This was the post that I saw from Lindsay. I am devastated to report that this absolute angel, this gentle giant, one of the greatest loves of my life, died suddenly this morning. It must have been a heart attack. This loss is huge for our family. I hope his story and photos brought some smiles to your life. Lindsay. End quote. Every one of the individual rescue dog stories that I've chosen to publish are curated and included for a specific reason. Some are symbolic of what so many other rescue dogs go through from birth to death, and other stories shine light on ongoing problem and show what everyday people are doing to bring forth a solution. Some stories just capture my heart for no particular reason. And so I write about them because maybe they'll capture yours too. Georgie never had a DNA test, but he seems to be as close to a Saint Bernard as they come, which is not typical for us. Usually the rescued dogs we take in are unruly teens who've hooked up behind the barn without a condom when no one was looking. And now they had puppies and they need a home. Georgie was unique in that way of being a Saint Bernard. Proof of a very important aspect of rescue that all rescue workers wish the general public knew and embraced more. That there are dogs of every breed, every temperament, sex, size, color that need to be rescued. With a little patience and resourcefulness, you can rescue a purebred of any kind you want. Some are turnkey. Some need extra TLC. Georgie was of the latter. He was in very bad shape. His rescuer was in very bad shape. The whole ordeal was a testament to the will of the strong and triumphant. Georgie had mats the size of softballs and was dangerously underweight. He was terrified of pretty much everything. His turnaround in the months following his rescue were nothing short of triumphant. Did I just say triumphant twice in 2 sentences? Well, it's unedited. I cut that. I'll find a different word. Everyone was watching on Instagram, cheering for this big goof in his magic ears, living his happily ever after. I too adored seeing the photos, videos, and updates Lindsay posted. He was their crowned prince. George and his beloved Wheezy, and Rosie, the tyrant cat who tormented the big galoomph at any chance that she got. You can go on Instagram. All of the photos are still on there. It's George _the_ saint. I'll confirm. I have it on here. His gentle soul, stubborn spirit, and magic ears was surely a Saint Bernard family's. I don't know. I'm still working on it. I didn't finish that sentence. which is interesting because Lindsay talks about his stubbornness to come. And it's funny, I didn't put the two in together until just now that Keith experienced his stubbornness on the day that he rescued him. 5 months after Rescue Matters was published, with Georgie's story tucked inside, I happened upon an update post. A picture of George, head between his front paws, his eyes imbued with a customary droop, his essence happy, yet still with a hint of sorrow. Georgie, 5 months later, was returned to the earth. I gave the family time and space, but I felt compelled to reach out months later to say how much Georgie's life and story had stayed with me, and how thankful everyone at TMAR is that he had a great family in the end. And the pain that his family felt was immense. Lindsay said writing about him would help her heal. And so I didn't want that family and Lindsay to write about him or talk about him if they didn't want to, or if it was painful. That's not what I wanted. And so that she said that writing about him would help her heal was great. And so I asked Lindsay if she would send me whatever she wanted to say about George to be included in the next book as sort of his final chapter. And so this is what she said. I'm not drinking because I'm crying. I'm drinking because I drink wine every night. Even when I'm not crying. I write books, drink wine, and rescue dogs. It is a good life. This is what Lindsay said, quote, "It was the day before Memorial Day, 2019. I had joined several St. Bernard Facebook groups over the previous year, and a post in one of them alerted me to a painting of a St. Bernard available on canvas at the at-home store. I told my husband I really needed that artwork to hang above George's favorite nap spot. It looked exactly like him. I hopped in my car and drove an hour each way to get that art piece. That piece of art. I was so happy to have found it. There was nothing out of the ordinary that night. We had a few friends over, and for the first time, George intentionally sought out attention from my friend Amber. It was a beautiful sign that he was finally trusting and willing to accept others into his circle. Later, I said goodnight to George as usual, with a snuggle and a kiss on his big head. I told him I was proud of him for asking for a snuggle from Amber. The following morning, my husband got up to let the dogs out. And I heard him get up, but I didn't wake up until he burst into our room. Gasping for air, when he could finally speak, he said, "George is dead." I sat up. I thought he was mistaken. That he just let George outside, and maybe George was just refusing to come in. He did that a lot in the winter. He liked staying outside in the snow. I was in total disbelief. I got up, walked to the front door, and when I opened it, I saw him. George was laying on the sidewalk, motionless on his side. I couldn't move. I begged my husband to check for a pulse, but there was nothing. And just like that, George was gone. It was raining, and I watched my husband, along with our neighbor, load George onto the trailer of a four-wheeler. They drove him down to the woods below our house, where they dug a grave and gently placed George in it. I don't know how my husband did it. He was devastated. He did all that work to make sure George had a final resting place in the woods where he loved to explore. We surmised that he must have had a heart attack or a stroke that struck quickly and hopefully without much pain. But our pain was just beginning. And there was no opportunity to say goodbye. No final snuggle that morning. No one with him when he fell down. And I didn't want that dog to spend one more minute of his life alone, scared or hurting. For 2 years, he knew nothing but love and safety and companionship. His doggy sister, Louise, was always with him. And she helped him explore the woods and learn that he was safe. Our kids taught him that it was okay to be shy and hide, but that they would be available if he wanted attention. We taught George to accept unconditional love, constantly looked for ways to make him happy. I really struggled with how to tell everyone he was gone. That 2 years with George wasn't enough. And that Louise was sitting in his favorite spot by the door, watching out the window and waiting for him to come back. And that none of us could stop crying. When I finally posted the news, the outpouring of grief and support was so wonderful. I hope George had some sense of how much he was loved, even by people that didn't know him. How do you fill a St. Bernard-sized hole in your heart? I don't think you can. You just have to fill some of the space with other things that make you happy. A few months after we lost George, we learned about a young golden retriever at a local rescue that needed a home. The kids were begging for another dog, and we were worried about how lonely Louise was becoming. A month or so later, we adopted that dog. She was about 7 months old and kept us busy to grieve as much as she kept us too busy to grieve as much as we did before. We named her May, and she chews up everything, digs holes all over the yard, and jumps on people. We brought her to a board and train facility for a week of manners training, and as we walked into the yard, the first dog to greet us was a young, sweet, slobbery St. Bernard. Maybe it was George, somehow reincarnated to send a message that he approved of May and wanted to spend some time checking her out for us. I think it's common to want to adopt a puppy so that you can have as much time with a dog in your life as possible. But now I also understand that just 2 years with a dog is enough to change your life. That the work of bringing a damaged, sad, shy, or sick dog back to health and helping them find happiness is one of the best feelings in the world. These are the dogs that need rescuing the most and are often the most overlooked. I'm so thankful we took a chance on George and that he took a chance on trusting us. What a wonderful 2 years it was. When I get sad and miss George, which is still pretty often, I try to remember the quote frequently attributed to Dr. Seuss. Don't cry because it's over, smile because it happened. And what happened is that we rescued a hot mess of a dog, got to realize a dog's dream of being truly loved. When I look at the painting hanging over George's favorite spot, it makes me smile and is a reminder of what we meant to each other. Rescue matters. End quote. Georgie's photos and Georgie's magic ears are on Instagram. George_the_saint. There's a video in there of him walking into the woods or from the woods. He takes his sweet time. And Rosie the tyrant cat is in that video too. It's super sweet. You should totally go check it out. Thank you, Lindsay and family, for allowing me to share Georgie's story from start to finish, and for sharing it with me. And I'm about story. That's why I'm here. Like, what do you do for the rescue? I write our stories. I write the dog stories. I think stories are powerful. And can help people heal, or can spark change maybe. And so, thank you for following. We appreciate you more than you know. You all are the reason why we're still here and rescuing a lot of dogs. Like Georgie, who just for some reason has my heart. So, I'm not crying out of sadness. I'm just crying because I cry when I read these stories. It just is what it is. Thank you. I'll see you again in 2 weeks, okay? Amanda will be on tonight at 9 o'clock. Hopefully she will be with that little fluffy dog from the box earlier today. Or maybe the dog with the bone stuck in its mouth. It's just what those guys do on the ground is absolutely incredible. Thank you for sharing and following and caring. And as long as you're still here, we'll still be here too. Thanks, everyone. Bye.